while we wait to see who could be going to South Carolina next, of course, official visits. They took place last weekend. There were some big ones. There's going to be some more official visits going on this weekend. You have the signees and some of the transfers. They're already on campus, right? And we'll talk about that later on in the program. Nicholas Harbor, he's arrived on campus. Mm-hmm. But as far as what we could see, right? Again, we're going to have to wait and see how things play out. But one of the players who took to social media yesterday is Fred Love. And Fred Love has been someone South Carolina has been going. Fred Johnson, excuse me. Fred Johnson, and I keep saying Love, Mason Love. Love is in the ear. Fred Johnson is someone that South Carolina has been going after for quite some time. He announced yesterday that he will be making his commitment later this week. Now, if you go on to On3, if you're not familiar with Fred Johnson, on the website, the recruiting prediction machine is giving South Carolina the big advantage, and that's at 98.9%. Johnson is a 3-star rated by the On3 industry ranking, which takes all of the recruiting databases and puts them all into one and spits out just one giant number. 6'3". The website has him currently at 195. Wes Mitchell wrote a story on Fred Johnson just the other day. That weight is actually up now to 225. 225.
That's crazy.
So that's a 30-pound increase for all you non-math whizzes out there. But Fred Johnson, and I believe, let's give, because I definitely take my half of inch when I can with my height. Fred Johnson, 6'3.5", according to Wes. 6'3" on the website, 6'3.5". We throw the halves around here. Got to take them while you can. But that is someone who is making his commitment later this week. Our colleague, Chris Clark, this morning, he went ahead and put a confidence score in of 75%. 75% Chris Clark has South Carolina being able to land Fred Johnson, as Johnson is set to make his commitment later this week. I do want to be able to share with you. Here we go. This is actually from Fred Johnson just the other day, or I should say June 4th. So just 9 days ago. But these were his measurements when he went to South Carolina. So that's where you're seeing the 6'3.5". That's where you're seeing the 225 pounds. Again, I know some people, because we've got to this point now with South Carolina landing some pretty freaking talented athletes, right? With all these 4-stars. We're getting to a point now where some, not all, some people get upset when there's a 3-star. First off, 3 stars are the heartbeat when it comes to programs. I mean, it's the God's honest truth. You can have all the 4 stars and 5 stars in the world. You bring in some talented 3 stars who could be difference makers. My goodness. Go ask DJ Swearinger. Go ask Connor Shaw. But I say that because he is a guy that, again, 3 stars, when you looked at On3's industry ranking of him, and that was 30 pounds less.
Yeah.
He's bigger now. He's faster now. He's stronger now. He is someone that South Carolina was able to identify quickly. They wasted no time on him. And, oh, by the way, guess where he's from? Virginia. So being able to tap into that DMV. The DMV. DMA is a TV term. The DMV, to be able to land this kid would be massive for South Carolina. Again, he has gone public saying that he will be making his commitment very soon. And as we've seen from Chris Clark this morning, Clark said that he is giving that confidence score towards South Carolina at 75%.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with this kid's tape. My Fred Johnson just screams linebacker name to me. I don't know. And then he also wears 9, one of my favorite linebackers ever. Wore 9, Jalen Smith. I also wore 9 growing up, so I'm a sucker for this Fred Johnson kid, man.
Well, thanks for sharing with us, Steve McNeil.
I love his tape. Really, really athletic. Obviously, here you can see him playing some wide receiver, just going up and getting it. Like really, really, really athletic. And I think the 3 stars are lying to you, especially if he did put on that extra weight. It's only going to be a matter of time before it gets bumped up. He's still got his senior season to go, and I mean, we always see late bloomers in recruiting, and I think Fred Johnson's one of them. 6'3". What was the weight that you said he's up 30 pounds to 220 something?
He was at 1. So on 3, if you go to our website on 3, and I'll tell you right now, if you're not a subscriber to Gamecock Central, I know you're probably sick and tired of hearing all the pitches and this and that. I get that. I understand that. If you're someone that's even thought about joining Gamecock Central, take advantage of all the offers that are going on right now. You can sign up today, 50% off. 50% off for the whole year. It's not just football you get men's basketball, women's basketball, baseball. In addition to that, let's say you don't want to shell out that type of money right now. You just want to, baby step on in. I get it. Totally understand it. Why not sign up today where you can do 3 months for $10 or you sign up for 1 month for $1. I'm telling you right now, what's going to take place, and it is June 13th. You saw what happened yesterday. And I put it out there yesterday after the first welcome home. South Carolina is not even close. They're not even close to being done. From everything that I've been told.
Watch this hurdle.
Everything that I've been told over the last 48 hours, they're not even close to being done these next couple weeks. So I say that because if you want more intel, you want the latest on scoops, Wes and Chris are 2 of the best in the business when it comes to high school recruiting for South Carolina. And not just that, but as well as the transfer portal, you want to sign up. So again, that's my kind of my salesman's pitch. But
and it's in the ticker too.
Really something to take advantage. But I say all that because I want to tease a little bit of what Wes put on Gamecock Central. And I don't want to go too deep into it because, again, we want to make sure that if you're a subscriber, you can take advantage by looking this stuff up. But I wanted to find a quote.
What FG said.
I wanted to find the quote that we were just talking about Fred Johnson. And Wes just did a story recently on him. And where is it? Okay, this is the one quote that I'll read. And again, if you want to read more about it, it's behind a paywall on Gamecock Central. Sign up today. Again, $1, 1 month. I mean, shoot. I mean, that's like going into Costco's and getting all the free samples you want for nothing. I mean, that's practically stealing at this point. This is what he had to say. He said, quote, in terms of what stood out during his unofficial visit. So he took an unofficial visit this past weekend. Quote, I would say the coaches, facilities, stuff like that, how much they care about you. They were telling me they want me bad, stuff like that, telling me they want me really bad. I know for some people, they hear that, so it's like, all right, we hear that all the time. The part about caring, though, that has been something that has been echoed over and over this past spring. Specifically, and we could say this about, a bunch of coaches, but specifically about Torian Gray. I say that because trust like that has allowed Torian to get the best out of these defensive backs. It helped turn Jalen Foster into an All-American his final year. It helped develop the Division II transfer, Carlin Spittel, to be a starter in the SEC and eventually get signed by the Steelers. It turned Cam Smith and helped develop him into a more polished defensive back, someone that can play both inside and outside. We saw what happened with Darius Rush. We're seeing what's happening right now with some of the other talented players. Nick Eamon-Worry at safety, right? You think about DQ Smith in the season that he had as a freshman. O'Donnell Fortune, Marcellus Style. We can just keep going down the list. So I'm specifically talking about Torian Gray, but anytime you mention a positional coach on defense, it all goes back to the defensive coordinator. All goes back. And Clayton White is the exact same. He is the exact same. He is an extension, right? Torian Gray is an extension of what Clayton White is and what he wants to be in terms of being able to build those relationships up. So I say all that stuff, Joe, because hearing stuff like that, and I'll throw one more other tidbit in there. One more other tidbit. They said that they'd be interested in him potentially playing Sam Will and a little bit of nickel. Okay. And again, if you want to read more information about Fred Johnson's unofficial visits to South Carolina, head on over to GamecockCentral.com. Wes did a tremendous job of being able to find or be able to track down Fred and talk about his recent visit. But again, I truly believe there is something to be said about how South Carolina has gone about recruiting since the day Beamer has arrived here. And you keep hearing the care part. I'm not saying other places you don't hear players say that, you don't hear recruits say it. But you heard players this past spring echo that, right? I mean, how many times do you hear a player go somewhere and they're like, oh, they care about me? But after they go to South Carolina or you go anywhere for that matter, they say South Carolina, put that aside. You go to a different place and they don't really give a crap about you. You're just a number. That's not the case at USC.
Yeah.
That's not the case. We've heard players who are still here say that. That doesn't happen at every place. I promise you that. Because once they get you on campus, once the coaching staff gets you on campus, I understand the transfer portal's there, the game's changing a little bit. But once they have you on campus, you're theirs. You're theirs, at least for 1 year. So caring, doing all those little things, it's something to be said about that. And it's standing out with the recruits, but it also stands out with the players on campus. So again, Fred Love announced that he will be making his commitment later this week. Fred Johnson, excuse me. I'm making up players here. I'm just combining Mason Love and Fred Johnson.
Hey, man, that Fred Love guy sounds really good.
Yeah, Fred Love. He'd be a hell of a player, too. Fred Johnson will be making his commitment later this week in South Carolina.